Hey guys, Stefano here, and welcome to episode 9 of this incredible podcast that I am so proud to put out into the world, Building an Empire. Here's the thing about building an empire. In order for you to build anything in life, you have to control your well-being. You have to control your emotions. You do have to be in a healthier state. Now, by no means am I a prime example of that, because I have my own demons that I battle with. I do battle with stress and anxiety, and I have had bouts of depression. And I think at one extent or the other, we all have. But this is all part and parcel in running and starting and building your own business, your own empire, right? So what I want to talk about is a fundamental, fairly large issue that we're dealing with in society in 2019 and beyond. And that is the social media frenzy, the social media anxiety, the fact that we can't turn off. I am probably, and I can say confidently, addicted to social media. Now, in that respect, I do use social media for my business platforms. So I am on it quite substantially because of the fact that I run a social media agency, a video content marketing agency. But with that being said, there are times where I find myself scrolling unintentionally, really, and just it's something like the fidget spinner era. It's kind of like that, just with social media. It's this addiction that we have to scrolling, to finding out what people are posting, not necessarily wanting to know, more so just doing it because it's an addiction. It's something that we all now deal with, and that is a big addiction. Now, I do say addiction lightly. I know people that have dealt with a lot worse, chemically and not, in one way or another, addicted to something. But social media can ruin you. It can really cripple you. It can make you an antisocial. That's the thing people tend to not understand. You can be an antisocial while on social media. That's because the real world, the world outside of your phone, you're shutting off. You're not dealing with family. You're not dealing with your friends. You are solely primarily focused on what's happening in the social media realm, whether it be through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comments, Snapchat, and the list goes on, because in reality, if you are addicted to Amazon, I mean, that is your addiction. It's still social media based because you are interacting with the rest of the world. So we are a society now that will have a much higher level of stress and anxiety based on the fact that we pride ourselves on not being able to control our addiction to social media. Now, again, I am a culprit to this. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up into the podcast is because it's a very big fundamental process. In order for you to build an empire, you will have to delegate. You will have to structure your life. Now, with that being said, you do have to have a certain etiquette of how much you're going to use on social media and how effective your time is going to be. If you're, it's okay. People are addicted to sleeping. I know a lot of people that they love to sleep. They could sleep all day, all night. They can do 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day of sleep. I know people like this. And it's not to say that it is the same thing. It's a different thing, but it's still an addiction. Everyone has addictions to a lot of things. I mean, for anyone that has social media, which is pretty much everyone, I can guarantee you that if you're out and about and you're not looking to take a photo, your finger's itching to check Instagram or Twitter, Snapchat, or whatever you use. I'm going to talk about Instagram because I think Instagram is probably one of the most interactive, hottest social platforms right now, clearly. By leaps and bounds, just because of the platform and the way it's designed. But I know that my phone is burning a hole in my pocket if I'm not checking it every 5 minutes. So how are we going to use restraint? How are we going to be able to balance our business, work life, and social media? It's a very challenging topic. A very challenging topic. I think in order to delegate our time more effectively is if we do our morning ritual, a ritual of brainstorming, a ritual of time management. And time management isn't for everyone. Time management tends to be a problem for others. And I, for one, last year, I'd say in 2018, for the majority of it, I found myself very easily distracted over things in my environment, whether it be knowing that I need to go to do deposits at the bank. It would give me stress all morning long because of the fact that I know it's coming up and I cannot miss it, and what have you. I just, my mind gets preoccupied. And with social media in the mix and the phone so easily accessible, and the fact that I create my content on the social media platforms, it's really hard not to find myself with the phone in hand, trying to scroll and stay on top of things and being interactive. Now, granted, because I have had this over a year and a half aggressive approach on Instagram, I've really benefited the rewards of it. But it, of course, comes with a price, because now I do have a quote-unquote addiction to it that stems outside of my business realm. Because even if I'm not doing anything business related, I do have that itch to finally check. So here's what I think. I think that the plan of action is that we need to create a morning ritual, our own little checklist, things that we need to accomplish and things that we need to allocate in regards to time. So if you're going to wake up in the morning, and a lot of people, they have their own little morning routine. They wake up, they get themselves ready, they make sure that they do the simplest chores like fixing their bed. A lot of people tend to miss that, but it's that one critical step that if you don't do it, it's that one thing that's waiting for you when you get back home from work or wherever you're headed out to school or what have you. But if you create the routine where you've already established that your bed is fixed, it does declutter the mind, and you can already start the day going off on a better foot. So if we delegate our times, that we wake up, we do this, we have our morning fuel, we have our breakfast, possibly some caffeine as well if need be. I know I need it for sure. And then we structure our day. If your day consists of creating, let's say you're a graphic designer. Let's say you do video. You do social media, you do video, you do photography, you're in and around that aspect, okay? And you're constantly around computers. The delegation you have to do is set up your meeting times if you have any. Set aside your editing time if you have it. Set aside your graphic designing, your brainstorming, your strategic planning. Set all that aside. Make a checklist and then put it into your day, okay? Give yourself still time for you time. You still need you time, because without you time, you will burn yourself out. I've done it 1,000 times, and I am an advocate on, if you don't have you time, believe me, you will take one step forward, 3 steps back mentally. So I think with a little bit of structure, we can control the social media platform. And lastly, that I'm going to touch on this podcast with the addiction to social media is we need to catch ourselves doing it. You know, it's one thing for me to say it. It's another for you to see it. And sometimes what I recommend, and it has worked for me on occasion, is keep your phone away from arm's reach. Because at times, and I've noticed it has happened to me, and I'm sure it can work for you, if your phone is too far that you physically have to get up and go get it, odds are, let's say 5 out of the 10 times, you're just not going to get up and you're going to continue your conversation. You're going to continue doing what you're doing because you just don't want to get up and make that extra step. So perhaps maybe making it not as accessible could very well do it. And the very last thing, and I'm going to end it off with this only because this is a topic that, you know, we can explore forever. Definitely drop me a message at TTL Films on Instagram, funny enough, and I will gladly answer any comments, questions, and for sure I'll help you. But do not, and I think this is a huge thing, do not keep your phone next to you before you go to bed, because many things will happen. Yes, the excuse is I use it as an alarm clock, and yes, I do as well. Yeah, I use it for a sleep machine. Yes, I do it as well. But the problem is, mentally, even in the subconscious, you want to check your phone. Even at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you somehow, Even though you're not interested in anything, you want to scroll. You want to just see what everyone is doing, not because you care, just because you have to. Sometimes keep it away from you. I mean, there are sound machines to buy on Amazon, and if you truly do need an alarm clock, I mean, it's 2019, but you can get an alarm clock. I mean, it's not uncommon, or you can use pretty much anything as an alarm system. You have an iPod, you have I mean anything, just literally anything could do the job. And try it out and see if the disconnect helps you focus better, because at times it really will, because there are elements of stress and anxiety that will hold you back from building your empire, and I've learned it firsthand. So I wanted to create this podcast and this episode. I think it will help a lot of people. So, of course, my friends, if you liked it, you know what to do. Follow me on the social media platforms. Use it properly. And, of course, I will check you next episode. Everyone, stay safe and control yourself with the social media. It can get overwhelming. See you later.